I did. Only because I knew I wasn't going to read it.
I'll find it.
Okay.
Sheriff O'Brien, you want to talk on this?
I know the sheriff wants to talk more about sparklers, so
I support it.
thank you. I think we had a good couple points of the public hearing last night. There's a letter that was submitted today, and thank you to the staff for getting this around to the members, trying to address some of the concerns or some of the issues that came up last night. We heard a lot about the concerns for children. The retail staff handling these has to be 21 years old. They can't be sold to children, so if there is any children use, it's strictly under parental supervision. I thought the point was very well made last night that most sparkler injuries happen because of the burning of the metal, and the state law that we are opting in on allows for only wooden sparklers, so that takes away a lot of the concerns. There were concerns about the storage raised last night. We've got a couple things in there. We, by the statute, incorporate NFPA, Fire Prevention Act 1124 in its entirety, which is about a 110-page regulation, the vast majority of which is safe storage rules, safe handling rules. So not only would code enforcement and local fire be able to enforce this, every retailer of this has to be informed of this and has to certify to the state as part of the licensing process that they're in compliance with this. So the assertion that there were no restrictions or no safety measures on the storage of these is just not true. There's 100-plus pages of regs incorporated in our local law by reference. The other couple issues, I think those are the main ones. Just to reiterate, we've actually gone beyond what other counties have done and what the state law authorized us to do. We added things last year to make this more palatable and more safe. One of the things we added at the last minute last year was a requirement that anyone who's storing these have signage visible out front, so that if there is ever any incident or if fire or first responders come in there for any reason at all, they'll know immediately what they're dealing with and that these are stored and where they're stored on site. We also have in our local law another part that says the use of sparklers per this local law is completely off limits during high-risk fire times. We took that one step further and said that local fire departments can declare on their own information, on their own basis, that the use is not allowed during high-risk fire times. So we've really gone beyond even what the state allowed other counties to do. And I think the point to be well made from one of the speakers last night was over 30 counties are doing this, including pretty much all of our surrounding counties. So, in terms of whether this is a danger, the reality is we're surrounded by counties that are doing it. They're getting tax revenue. There's going to be sparklers around. I would like to see Albany County share in that tax revenue. The other important factor is, and I think it's important to remember what we're dealing with here are sparklers and the cone devices which shoot up sparks, but no aerial devices, no actual fireworks. It's strictly sparklers and spark-producing devices. What has happened in the other states that have allowed this is that you find that when there is a safe alternative like sparklers, or a safer alternative like sparklers, safer than regular fireworks, you see a lot less incidents of accidents and fire of regular fireworks. The thing is, if somebody's wants this kind of entertainment and they drive to Pennsylvania, they drive to New Hampshire, they drive wherever, they're not coming back just with sparklers. They're going to load the car up with everything and Roman candles and all kinds of dangerous fireworks. What we've seen in other states that have done this, and it's too early for the other counties, but other states it's pretty clear, if there's an alternative like sparklers, people will not travel across state lines to get more dangerous fireworks. So I think this actually could help us enhance safety, and it will be a good tax revenue measure. And in terms of the sale, in terms of the storage, in terms of the regulations, we go well beyond what the state and the other counties around us are doing. So I'm confident this is as safe as measure as possible.
Brian,
questions?
do I remember correctly last year when this came up, the vendor came in and said that they would be willing to pick up the fireworks and restore them from the various people who were selling them if they didn't have the storage facility?
Yes.
Is that correct?
I do remember hearing that, yes. So that would be another option. And I think that's a great point, and another point on that is nobody's going to mass store sparklers because they're only open per the local law, per the state law, for 2-3 week periods a year. You're not going to buy a ton of them for use of 4th of July because they're not going to keep that well 6 months later to use them at the new year. So the risk that these would be mass stored in a dangerous way, one, doesn't make sense, two, doesn't comply with the regulatory requirements of storage we have.
Any more questions? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members.
I'm glad it's over, Brian.
Me too.
A long firecracker.
You and me both, Mr. Chair.
Let's see, appoint members of the Albany County Traffic Safety Board. Sheriff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Over the course of time, several members have chosen not to come back. There was a variety of different expiration dates, term limits on their appointments. We've reappointed everybody. We're requesting reappointment to everybody that's on it currently. I will resume as the chairman. We've put everybody at the same appointment date, expiration date, that being December of 2018, and we're just looking to push that through to the full legislature.
Any question for Sheriff? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? Unanimous. Authorize submission of grant application to the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance regarding reimbursement for reincarnation of criminal.
This is what's known as the SCAP program, the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. The money fluctuates from year to year. It's for correctional facility use only, for housing aliens. And basically, last year we budgeted 25, we got 40. We're going to file this year. We're hoping to get the same as last.
Any questions?
I have a question. Sheriff, are these people that we've arrested and are holding that happen to be aliens, or are they wards of the feds?
No, that's a whole different program. These are people that get arrested and would be considered illegal.
Okay.
We'll house them until there's an adjudication of either their local charge or the state or the feds decide to do something with them.
Okay.
When we bring somebody in, that's a federal border, that's a separate program, billable under a whole separate title.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? Unanimous. Amending Resolution 144 for 215 regarding the countywide emergency radio system. Sheriff?
As part of our interoperability project, sir, we have a tower located just outside the county in the town of Twinsburg. We need to add another antenna on that for the interoperable system. We've been able to negotiate, the bottom line is it's going to cost the county another $100 a month for the lease, which is paid through 911 surcharge fines or fees.
Any questions? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Sheriff. Scott, right? Scott? All right, Sheriff, authorize the agreement with the Crown Castle Communication regarding radio equipment at the polling tower for the countywide emergency radio system.
I think I withdrew that one, sir.
Yeah. You need.
Oh, you gotta do it officially.
Please withdraw that one.
We don't want it. Thank you, Sheriff. Okay, number 5, authorize submission of grant application with New York Office of Homeland Security regarding emergency preparedness initiatives. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, this is an annual thing. The New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services has announced the regional allocation for our area this year, and so we've completed our application, and it actually was sent in yesterday, was the due date. So this is kind of a retroactive request, but it's looking for authorization to submit that application.
Okay. Any questions, you guys? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? Abstain. Abstain? Get that to the record, sir. One abstain. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Means adjourned. Yes. Sure.
I got 2 more, sir.
There's 2 more items.
Next page.
Oh, you saving paper?
This is a legislative initiative to save money on
I'm glad we're
paper.
saving paper. Authorize remove the Trinity Alliance of the Capital Region regarding counseling and educational service for 16 to 20-year-old population at the correctional facility.
For several years, we have passed on $46,500 payment to Trinity Alliance, which basically assists with transitional issues involving 16 to 20-year-olds coming out of our facility. They work with them to try to get them jobs, resume building, things of that nature. We need to basically put another formal RLA through a request for this, just to make it official and to authorize the payment. I don't have any true numbers in front of me. It's something that we're seeking in order to continue this next year. Otherwise, I will not be looking to continue it.
Any questions for the sheriff? Juan?
I know you just said that you don't have any numbers.
I don't have any numbers indicating how many people that, Trinity does a marvelous job, I believe, in the inner city. I think they truly do. But I always have an issue extracting data from that program. So if I don't get any firm data to show exactly where these dollars are going, I will not be looking to continue our relationship.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking that is I also am very much concerned about having some measurable outcomes.
Right.
Because I believe we give money and appropriate thousands of dollars for programs that are supposed to be helping people in many different areas.
Right.
You know, whether it's to combat recidivism or, you know, and to help people with reentry efforts and all of that, okay? But unless we have some numbers that indicates how many people that they have helped, but this has to do, I understand, with jobs. I would also like to see if they followed it all the way through to see if they actually got a job, okay?
I totally agree.
And I know that the jail has people who are there for like short periods of time too. I would also like to know if we're duplicating the same services again, because sometimes people utilize different programs just to show that they're doing something. I want to know that they actually complete it, because I don't know how, is this a couple of weeks? Is it a 3-month program, you know, or whatever it is? And are we releasing the money to them based on, you know, the programs that these individuals complete, or we're just giving them the money carte blanche?
Well, they're telling us what they're doing, but they're not showing us exactly who they're doing it with. And quite honestly, ma'am, we have programs at the jail, and kudos to my staff, that run with asset forfeiture money at basically no cost. So we're not looking to continue this relationship unless we get some true data to show us exactly how many individuals they serve from 16 to 20. And did they get jobs? Did they follow through? Are they still employed? Are they back on the system? What happened? Or is the recidivism not changing, and are they back in jail? So we've been unable to get that. We've made it pretty clear that if we don't get it in the near future, that we will not be looking to continue this relationship.
Okay,
And
thank
I
you.
know that, and in fairness, Trinity does a marvelous job in the city, but if you're taking taxpayer money, you need to be accountable, so.
Yes, I agree.
Any more questions? Take a motion. Second. Anybody opposed? It's unanimous. Authorize lease agreement with the Thomas Family Foundation regarding the Choices 301 program.
Choices 301, Mr. Chairman, is a program that was started by Ed Frank after the passing of his son. It's a marvelous program. It targets distracted driving. There was some prescription pill awareness in there. A lot of the focus is, in fact, stop DWI. He has since chose to retire and has asked us to assume control of the program. The building is out in Altamont. It is owned by Jeff Thomas. They've agreed not to charge us any rent, but sign an agreement for $1 for a lease for the year. It's a great program. It basically instructs probably, I think a fair number would say, several thousand kids a year on the disastrous effects of drinking and driving, texting and driving, distracted driving. We also run a few programs out of there called Alive at 25. Which is first of its kind in this area. So I think for the $1 a year, it's a well worthwhile program, although I am looking again in 2017 to maybe move this to our Clarksville building and keep everything close to home.
Any questions about that?
So moved.
Second. Anybody opposed? Unanimous. Motion adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff, for everything.